Hey, I'm Jusko from ProbMoney.com, and in this video we are going to look at the best airline credit cards on the market. Before we do, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So airline credit cards, I could do a huge sort of upfront thing here where I talk about all the considerations, including whether you should even get an airline credit card, but I'm going to save some of those considerations until after we actually look at the cards. Now, I will say before we get going, my opinion is that if you are thinking of getting an airline credit card, some of the credit cards out there, they are going to have no annual fee cards. They're going to have sort of a middle range card in terms of having a little bit of an annual fee, and then some of them have higher end cards where you could be paying $400 or more. The best airline cards for the widest number of people, probably you, are going to be those ones that are in the middle, usually with an annual fee somewhere between $90 and $100. So let's start with the best cards from the big three airlines, and I'm going to skew this toward the new card holder bonuses because I think all of these airlines have good cards here, sort of in this sweet spot that I just talked about. So as I'm making this video, that means I'm going to start with the United Mileage Plus Explorer card. No annual fee first year, $95 annual fee every year after that. You're going to get 2 miles per dollar on United purchases, 2 miles per dollar on dining, 2 miles per dollar when you book hotels directly with the hotel using the card, 1 mile per dollar everywhere else. Now that bonus, as I make this video, 60,000 miles if you spend $3,000 with the card in the first 3 months, and then you can get an extra 10,000 bonus miles if you spend $6,000 overall within the first 6 months of having the card, so you could potentially get a 70,000 mile bonus there. You've got preferred boarding with this card, you've got first bag checked free, there is a credit for TSA PreCheck or global entry if you choose to do one of those programs. You've got a couple United day passes into the United Club that you can use every year. So there's a lot of good stuff going on with this card, and I should also mention here that the United Business card also may be even a better option if you are a business owner, because you can get a bigger bonus on that card as I'm making this video, and that's usually going to be true for almost all the business versions of these cards that I talk about. The American Airlines A Advantage Platinum Select, issued by Citi, no annual fee first year, $99 annual fee every year after that. In terms of everyday rewards, you're getting 2 miles per dollar on your American Airlines purchases, 2 miles per dollar at restaurants, 2 miles per dollar at gas stations, 1 mile per dollar everywhere else. The bonus opportunity as I'm making this video is 50,000 miles if you spend at least $2,500 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. You have preferred boarding with this card, you have the first checked bag free with this card. Now this is the Citi version of an American Airlines card. You may also know, or maybe you don't know, that there also are American Airlines cards issued by Barclays. There is a Barclays American Airlines Aviator Red card that is somewhat similar to this card. Sometimes its bonus might be a little different. When the annual fee kicks in might be a little different. In particular, if you are on an American Airlines flight, sometimes you can get that card with a nice bonus with no spend necessary on the card in order to get that bonus. You just have to use the card. But overall, I'd give it to Citi as the better overall package. And then again, also, business cards, make sure you check there as well, because the bonus opportunity probably going to be better in most cases. The Delta Airlines Sky Miles Gold American Express card, no annual fee first year, $99 annual fee every year after that. 2 miles per dollar on Delta purchases, 2 miles per dollar at restaurants worldwide, 2 miles per dollar at US supermarkets, 1 mile per dollar everywhere else. As I make this video, you've got a 40,000 mile bonus opportunity if you spend $1,000 in the first 3 months of having the card, so a fairly low hurdle in order to get that bonus. And then you have good things like priority boarding, first bag checked free. This card has maybe the best overall package in terms of everyday rewards when you kind of couple it with the bonus and other things that it offers. And again, like I've said with the other cards, check the business versions as well if that applies to you, because you've got some bigger bonus opportunities and maybe different rewards and perks that might match your business. So those are the best cards from the big three. Now, some people would say Southwest Airlines belongs in that same conversation. I put them in a little bit different class because of the fact that they don't have quite as many direct flights. Their international coverage is not the same as those big three airlines, but obviously a hugely popular airline. The best of Southwest's multiple credit cards for consumers, I think, is the Plus card, $69 annual fee. In terms of everyday rewards, 2 points per dollar on Southwest, as well as with Southwest hotel and car rental partners. 2 points per dollar on internet, cable, and streaming services. 2 points per dollar on transit and rideshare services, so everything from cabs to Uber and Lyft, that sort of thing, and then you're gonna get 1 point per dollar everywhere else. As I make this video, a 40,000 point bonus opportunity if you spend $1,000 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. Now, Southwest points worth a little bit more than a lot of these other airlines, so that 40,000 point bonus, and even when you look at the other points that we're talking about, a little bit more. Each one of their points about 1.4 cents a piece in terms of the value you're going to get. For these other airlines, you could think of it as 1 cent per mile, or maybe 1.1 in most cases. Now with Southwest, you don't have the checked bag thing because Southwest already gives you the free checked bags with the airline itself, so you don't need the card in order to get that. So not a ton of extra perks on Southwest, but if you already like Southwest, a pretty nice card. Now let's look at some of the other airlines out there that, because they are a little smaller and maybe don't have as much coverage, I put them sort of in a different class, but some of them have very good credit cards if they work for you. First off, let's talk about JetBlue. So the best card on the consumer side from them is going to be the JetBlue Plus card. It has a $99 annual fee. In terms of everyday rewards, you're going to get 6 points per dollar on your JetBlue purchases, 2 points per dollar at restaurants, 2 points per dollar on grocery purchases, 1 point per dollar everywhere else. There is a big 60,000 point bonus opportunity as I am making this video. JetBlue points are going to be worth a little bit more like Southwest points, so when you think of 60,000 points as a bonus, you might think of those each point being worth maybe 1.3 cents a piece. So you've got some really good buying power there on JetBlue. A lot of other nice features with this card as well. Now the thing about JetBlue is, again, they're not necessarily going to have as much coverage in terms of where they go, and they are not going to get you to, you know, your international destinations if you want to go to Europe, all of that kind of stuff. If you do like JetBlue though, you might also want to look at their business card, which, as I am making this video, really has a nice bonus of 80,000 points potentially, and a $99 credit when you spend, I think it's $2,000 in the first 90 days of having it. So that is a card to definitely look at if JetBlue works for you. If Alaska Airlines is an airline you would consider, probably more so if you are on the West Coast than the East Coast, their credit card pretty good, $75 annual fee. The everyday rewards, only okay, 3 miles per dollar on your Alaska Air purchases, but only 1 mile per dollar on everything else that you buy with the card. Now you do have a nice bonus opportunity on this card, and then you have the companion fare that you get every year that could be as low as $121 when you bring someone with you on an Alaska Air flight. Alaska Airlines is now part of the One World Alliance that also includes American Airlines, so you do have the ability to potentially use your points and earn points on American as well as Alaska, as well as some of the international airlines that are part of the One World Alliance. But still, this is probably a card that for most people they're not going to prioritize, but not a bad card, and some people really love it. If Frontier Airlines is an airline that you seek out for potentially lower fares, well then you might want to think about getting their credit card. It has an $89 annual fee, but it's got some good stuff going on. You're getting 5 points per dollar on your Frontier purchases, 3 points per dollar on restaurant purchases, 1 point per dollar everywhere else. As I'm making this video, there's a 50,000 point bonus opportunity. So Frontier is one of those airlines that you're kind of buying into it for the lower fares that you are paying, but if you have the credit card on top of that, well then obviously it's going to get you where you want to go even faster, and maybe it's going to get you more redemptions than you would get with some of the other bigger airlines. Definitely take a look at their card if Frontier works for you. You have Hawaiian Airlines with a pretty good credit card, both on the consumer side and an even better one on the business side. For some people, Hawaiian Airlines is not going to make sense. If you want to fly to Hawaii, obviously, it would make sense, especially if you are on the West Coast, but a somewhat more limited audience. Spirit Airlines, not necessarily a great credit card, to be honest with you, but they are an airline that you are choosing because you want the lowest possible price on the places that you are going. So if you find yourself using Spirit on a regular basis, maybe you would want to add their credit card as well. Now, there are many international airlines that do have credit cards that you can get if you are in the US, for most people, I would say those aren't necessarily a great choice unless you are someone that wants to figure out airline alliances and see if you can get a little bit more out of the points or miles that you get from those airlines, or if you really want to fly internationally, something like the Air Canada Aeroplan card maybe is something you would take a look at because it would get you to international destinations, and you also have an airline alliance that you can deal with, and it's a pretty good card on its own. And there are others out there as well, but I think for this video, I could almost do a video just on those international airline credit cards, but I think the audience for it is not really all that big. So if that is you, you can do some more investigation and see what is available to you. All right, so those are the cards I think that you should take a look at if you're looking for an airline card. But now let's backtrack and look at, should you get an airline credit card to begin with, and take this a little bit more from the macro level and think about travel in general. For a lot of people, getting an airline specific credit card is going to be a little less flexible because you're going to get miles only on one airline. Maybe you can use them through an alliance, but there are cards out there that you can earn flexible travel points that maybe you can use across airlines. So that's when you get into things like Chase and American Express in particular. These days, I would probably put Capital One in there as well, where you can get one or more of their cards and earn from Chase their Ultimate Rewards points, or the membership rewards points from American Express, Capital One's Venture Miles. All of those you can use either through their travel portals where you could go across airlines, or perhaps you can book with their cards and then you have the ability to use your points to essentially sort of erase the purchase that you made. Depends on who you're going with. But I think for a lot of people, getting flexible points through one of those kind of cards or more from one of those issuers is a better way to go than getting an airline specific card, because they're way more flexible in terms of how you use your points. You can use them on airlines. Oftentimes you can use them through hotels and through other purchases as well. So for a lot of people, unless you really travel a lot and you travel a lot with one particular airline, going airline specific is not necessarily going to be the best decision. Now, another consideration if you're thinking about airline credit cards, obviously, is going to be what airlines are accessible to me where I live. I've already talked about some of these being more West Coast than the rest of the country, so you might want to think about who flies out of the airport that I am close by and flies to the most places. That might be the place where you would want to concentrate your efforts in terms of getting their card and earning points or miles with them. You might also think about how often you fly and what you spend on every day. Some of these cards are better on everyday rewards. They're going to give you extra points or miles on restaurants, grocery stores, and other things like we talked about. Some of them are going to be a little less exciting on an everyday basis because you're not going to earn too many points or miles on your purchases, where again, with maybe a flexible rewards card, you could get more every day on those gas purchases, those restaurant purchases, those grocery store purchases, and then use them toward travel in that way. So all of that comes into consideration. What kind of traveler are you? What are you going to earn on an everyday basis? Where is your dollar going in terms of what you spend on? And then finally, I said at the beginning of the video that all of the cards I talked about had annual fees, but they were somewhat nominal, from $69 with the One Southwest card to $99 per year with multiple cards that we talked about. However, there are other airline cards on the market that have no annual fee. There are other airline cards on the market that have big annual fees, $400 or more. I don't suggest either one of those groups for most people. The no annual fee airline cards usually are going to be much worse than the ones that you pay a nominal annual fee for every year. The rewards are going to be worse. The bonuses are going to be worse. Yes, you're not paying an annual fee, and maybe you're someone that says, I would never pay an annual fee for a credit card, but you're going to get a credit card that's not nearly as useful as the one that has somewhat of an annual fee. And then on the high end, if you're going to pay $400 or more, well, that's usually for your hardcore traveler that wants access to maybe an airport lounge from some of the big carriers out there that have their own branded lounges, that sort of thing. Or maybe you're really looking for status with the airlines because you are a frequent traveler and the card can help you get there. That is for a much smaller audience, and this video is more for the person that's trying to get into travel cards and figure out what they want. And so again, that sweet spot is probably going to be where you're between that $69 and $99 per year annual fee. That's where you're going to be the happiest. So airline reward programs and the airline credit cards that are associated with them are a topic that you could go on and on forever and go further and further into the minutia. In this video, I tried to provide sort of an overview and talk about what is best for the greatest number of people. But if you have questions, comments about anything I've said or anything that you think that people should also know, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews. We talk personal finance. We talk deals and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you don't want to check out the website, you don't want to leave a comment, watch this video.